A home win by more than one goal with a clean sheet that looked pretty comfortable? Nope, I've checked. It was Middlesbrough Football Club. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Project Boro, and it was indeed Middlesbrough Football Club. I had to look twice for a moment there because I thought surely that's not a side that have won at home at the Riverside comfortably without conceding a stupid goal from absolutely nowhere, but indeed no. It was Middlesbrough Football Club, and it was a 2-0 win over Stoke City, and it was the exact sort of result and performance that I think we needed. A lot of the things that we've been asking for, a lot of the things that have been lacking in games of late, and a lot of the personnel we've been crying out to come back and come in, did so, and you could see how much it benefited Boro in this game. The balance, the attacking players especially, was just so much better, and not only was the balance up front better, I think it suited all the players. They worked a lot better together as an attacking unit. The play was a lot more fluid, it was a lot more direct, the tempo was a lot higher, and we caused Stoke all sorts of problems. It wasn't like the really slow, ponderous, monotonous, almost borderline boring build-up football from Boro that we've come to see in recent games, especially at home. However, it was also partly down to Stoke City, who I assumed would come to the Riverside and play like Preston and Portsmouth and a lot of other teams have this season, and deliberately sit back and try and hit us on the break and try and make life as hard and as frustrating for us as possible. We've saw, teams sit very deep against Boro. Preston last time at the Riverside made the game very bitty, very stop-starty, but there was none of that by Stoke. I was really, really surprised, and I'm not going to moan, obviously, because the more open the game is, the more it benefits Boro. We all know that. But I think we've caught Stoke at a time where they're in transition with a new coach. And I feel like this early into Narcis Palascia's era and tenure as Stoke manager, I don't think in his first real full game, because the whole game was, of course, a day or two after he joined, I don't think he wanted his first full game after having the team all week to be him sitting back, defending, making it scrappy, making it bitty. I think for his benefit and the team's benefit, I think right now he just has to get Stoke playing the way he wants Stoke City to play. And there's no point in him wasting a game, throwing all of that out the window just so he can defend hard against Boro. I think that his priority at this moment in time is getting Stoke City playing his way with his principles, and I think that's what he tried to do here. And unfortunately for Stoke, you can tell they are a team that are going through that transition, because they had moments in this game. They had a big chance in the first half when they counter-attacked from a Boro corner, which forced a save out of Senny Dieng, but that was only the only real time Senny was tested. Other than that, Boro were allowed possession. They sort of pressed us a little bit, but we were allowed the ball. We played it round. The tempo was quicker. So I'm not going to pretend that this was a perfect swashbuckling, incredibly attacking performance by Boro. It was far from the best we're going to see, and probably far from the best we have seen from this Boro team. But it was an improvement. I think Carrick should take a lot of positives from this game going forward. And most importantly, as I said in my preview show, it was 3 points. It was a clean sheet. It was at home, at the Riverside, where understandably, due to the points dropped already, the points dropped last season, type of games we keep sort of running into, it was just, I think, a lot more reassuring for fans just to see us playing the way we did today and get a clean sheet and it just be comfortable. And that's exactly what it was. Now, I mentioned personnel. There were changes. Some were enforced just down to injuries, again, because Middlesbrough love an injury. So we did see Matt Clark missing completely, as with Tommy Conway. And albeit that did make me worry defensively, the defence was absolutely fine. And they did a brilliant job with Clark out of the team, arguably our best defender of the season. And without Tommy Conway, it kind of maybe forced Michael Carrick into playing, a specific four that I think just suited the system so much better. And I'll get into individuals when I get onto the Boro team after I've sort of spoke about the game, but there were certain individuals in the front four, and I think slotting them back into their positions and what they offered us going forward, it was just such a more fluid, balanced attacking unit, which helped the players around them. It helped Borges on the left as well. I really liked the balance of this Boro team going forward today, and whether we've stumbled across it, down to injuries, whether this is Carrick making the changes we've asked for and being proactive, whatever it is, I think we might have seen the best Boro front four and what we should go for going forward. But anyway, as I mentioned, first half, Boro come out and were very, very good. I would say I think we were much better. You could tell that straight away. Again, down to the players in the team. Riley McGree made a huge difference being back. He started in what we call the McGree role, and just how he benefits the team. It's crazy how one individual can just improve all the players around him and just have such a positive impact on our style of play. He's so technically good. He's so intelligent. The spaces, the pockets he picks up. I think that allows Azaz to come back into the centre where he's at his best. And I said in pre-season, I've said it a lot this season, I really liked McGree and Azaz in that sort of in the 10 on the left, because they sort of roam around, the interchange positions, they understand where each other's going to be. They're both very intelligent footballers, and we've only seen that in the Swansea game thus far this season. So I think seeing them two back together, they complement one another so well. And on top of that, McGree on the left just allows Neto Borges to get forward that little bit more, and we saw him get forward a lot more today. We saw him get into some really good areas and provide that left-hand side and the width. And that's another thing we've been crying out for this season. And I said this after the Sunderland game. Boro needed to make the pitch bigger. We needed to make it wider and play, through the middle, but down the sides as well. And we did that again because he brought in Ben Doak, who was absolutely phenomenal today, and I will get on to him a little bit later. But first half was all good. As I say, Stoke had one big chance from a counter-attack. It was a well-worked counter-attack as well. I think it was Bejun Ho down the left. He cut in, and it was a good save from Seny Dieng. But other than that, it was mostly Boro, and Latilaf had a chance. He hit the post from a header. But everything positive we did come down that right-hand side via Ben Doak, who we wanted to start. We wanted to see him come in, and he made such a difference. You know, he absolutely tortured Bocap, their left back. He gave him a torrid time. He would stick to the touchline. He would be as wide as possible. And every time he picked up the ball, he was so direct. He was so positive. And the good thing about Ben Doak is, he's positive. He's got defenders backing off. It causes chaos. It causes carnage. But he can go both ways. You know, the header that Lath hit the post with, that come off of a cross from Doak with his left. He was whizzing balls in with his right. I can absolutely see why Liverpool are so excited by him. He, I think, transformed our attacking outlet down the right. And I think when you've got a player who is just so direct and so quick, that just gives the rest of the team a bit of urgency. It sort of drags up the intensity and the tempo of the whole team when you've got one individual who's just such a live wire. And I think that benefited the whole team massively, because in midfield we were so much sharper, so much quicker. Hayden Hackney was pinging balls left, right and centre, playing them out to the right, playing them out to the left. We were just, the tempo was a lot quicker. It was a lot faster. It was a lot more direct. We were always trying to be positive, running at the Stoke box. We put so many balls into the mixer. It was exactly everything that we've been crying out for. Another thing that we've been crying out for was that Boro maybe, when the chance comes, take more shots. Because we have been, obviously, criticised, and rightfully so, by sometimes trying to walk the ball in, which you can sort of fall into the trap of doing when you're playing against a very defensive team. But Doak's first goal for Boro opened the scoring on the 34th minute. No one else on the pitch deserved a goal more than him, and it came from Riley McGree having a shot from the edge of the area, and it come from his intelligence, because McGree's the one who initially played the free kick quickly, comes back to him, he cuts onto his weaker foot, takes a shot, has a dig. We've said this loads of times, haven't we? You just don't know what might happen. It's parried in to Ben Doak, who was played onside by Boro's very own Ben Gibson. Did looked offside by a mile at first, but as you can see on the replays, he was onside. And again, it's good to see someone having a pop. It's also good to see someone gambling, and Ben Doak did that. And that's, I don't want to, use Ben Doak as a stick to beat Isaiah Jones with, because Isaiah Jones can be unbelievable on his day, but would he have gambled? Would Jones have gambled in that position for a tap-in? I'm not sure. Would he have been as direct and as tricky as Doak was in this game? I don't know, but Doak gambled, had a tap-in at the back post, and that put Boro 1-0 up. And after that, it was the same old sort of, can we get the second? Can we close the game out? Can we make it easy for ourselves? Because no matter how Stoke were playing, how poor they were at times, there's always that danger that they could nick a goal from absolutely nowhere. We've saw Boro concede goals from nothing time and time again this season. So it was so important that we got ourselves that second goal. And we had chances. Second half comes around. Lath has a fantastic shot turned around the post by the goalkeeper. Azaz had another shot later on, albeit we might have already been 2-0 up at that point. He has an open goal pretty much that he manages to miss. So we had, half chances here and there. I wouldn't say we were in a position where, like past games, we could argue that Boro had gaping clear-cut chances to put the game to bed, and we didn't. I think we had half chances here and there. We were getting into dangerous positions, forcing Stoke to defend really, really hard. But the second goal did come in the 73rd minute, and what a goal it was. And it come from Hayden Hackney. The press from Lath was absolutely fantastic. He was more like himself today. He wins the ball back high up the pitch. Hackney drives and drives and drives, and he did this so much today as well, picking up the ball and carrying it, which he's done a lot, and he's done brilliantly this season. And then he hits an absolute cracker right into the top corner. He just catches it perfectly. He pings it right into the top corner. No goalkeeper is saving it, and once that goal goes in, it's game over, and there are no worries of a Stoke sucker blow, a defensive error, a crap goal, nothing like that. The second goal did the job for me, and that was game over. And Stoke didn't really offer much second half. I was quite surprised by them. Obviously, we saw them in the League Cup a few weeks ago, batter us and look really good on the counter-attack. But yeah, barring their only chance first half, I was disappointed by Stoke. I can sort of give them a free pass because they're going through a transition, but all they were doing first half was, I think, trying to get in behind our fullbacks. They were trying to play long balls in behind, get runners in behind, and I think once Boro sussed that out, there wasn't much else Stoke were offering. They had a good sort of 5 to 10 minute spell after Boro's second, but by then the game was sort of done. And as I mentioned, there were opportunities for Boro after that second goal went in, and we could have had more. But yeah, for me, as I said in the lead up to the game, the most important thing was that we got the 3 points. We got a clean sheet. We got a solid win in front of our home fans, and this is by no means a time to feel like we've cracked it. This is by no means a time to feel like that's it, we're sorted now, because I still think there are certainly ways and more areas for us to improve. But for me, going forward, I just really liked the front four. I thought Lath was much better as the sole striker. You didn't have to worry about Tommy Conway sort of playing alongside him at times. Azaz is so much better in behind as the 10. McGree transforms this team on the left, and Ben Doak, as we thought he would, is dislodged Isaiah Jones on the right-hand side. He's the exact winger I think we've been crying out for. He's the exact player I think we've been crying out for. He just takes us up a level. He just injects so much pace and drive and energy into our attack. And I think he could be pivotal for us this season. And given the fact he was a signing we weren't going to make, and we sort of stumbled across on deadline day, it's sort of really good that we did. But yeah, a brilliant win. For Boro, the performance, the result we needed. A quick look at the stats. As you can see, it was more than deserved from Boro. It was more like the Boro at the start of the season, really, where we were very, very creative. Once again, you could say we didn't get the goals and maybe should have took even more chances. We had 9 shots on target. 26 in total, albeit only 2 big chances, one of which we missed, which may have been Azaz's shot at the open goal towards the end, but we limited Stoke to nothing. As we have done many teams this season, it was just good to see that Senny was rewarded with a clean sheet this time, because the defence has not been bad at all this season. Barring 1 or 2 mistakes, one against Pompey, you could say, when Clark and Dieng clattered into one another. Our defence hasn't warranted the mistakes that individuals have made thus far this season, so it was good to see them get the rewards, and it was a makeshift defence as well, so it was even better to see them get that clean sheet. But yeah, Stoke were limited to 7 shots, 1 on target. Just said they had 2 big chances. I'm not too sure where they come from, given the fact that they only had 1 shot on target. But yeah, Boro limited them and did really, really well doing so. As for the Boro lineup, I mean, I've already sort of alluded to a lot of these players already, but Dieng did what he had to when he was called upon, which wasn't very often again. That was all down to the brilliant defence that we had in front of him. As I said, there were worries pre-match with Matt Clark being injured that we might have to reshuffle things and it could be an issue, but we started with Dijkstra on the right, who had a fantastic game, did really, really well. Ayling was at the centre-back partner with Edmondson, both of them did really well. Neto Borges had a really good game, which I'm happy about. I'm delighted for him. I think McGree, as I say, just helps on that left-hand side, and Borges was able to get forward. He's quite effective at times going forward. He made some really good runs and almost set up Latty second half and defended pretty well too. Midfield pairing were as good as always, Morris and Hackney. Morris breaking up play, retaining possession. Hackney much better than against Sunderland, and remind us all what he can do. When he can pick up the ball. The passes he was playing were really, really good, really accurate. But one thing I think he's added to his game is how good he is at driving with the ball and carrying the ball through the midfield into their defensive third. And the only thing you could say is missing from his game are goals, and if he pings them in like he did today, he should hopefully get a few more if he takes a few more efforts at goal. And as I said, the front four were brilliant. Riley McGree is the key man. I don't care what anyone says about any of the other 11. He is the key to this system working. He has been since Carrick come in. We have to keep him fit because he improves everyone around him and all the players around him in the system overall, and that allowed Finazaz to have a good game. I think first half especially, he was a nightmare for the Hull City defenders and the midfielders. Latty, I will mention next, was much more like himself today. Could have had 2. He was unlucky. He had a header, as I say, that hit the post. A really good effort that was well saved by Johansson in the second half, which he turned round. But I'm going to finish with Ben Doak once again, who, we've heard a lot from Liverpool fans. He's an incredibly exciting talent, and we've been crying out for him, and you could say it's a dying art, the out-and-out winger, because players seem to be almost cutting inside constantly. You see it all the time now, inside wingers, inside forwards. They cut inside, they bring the ball inside to shoot or to recycle possession. You don't see as many wingers, who get to the byline and take the full-back on, get down the outside of him, and that's what Ben Doak is. It's weird to say he's sort of a classic winger, because that makes me both feel old and feel like the winger shouldn't be outdated. But yeah, to see a player who just picks the ball up and his first thought is, I'm going to run at you and I'm going to beat you. And he's tricky, and his step overs and his agility and his low centre of gravity. He's like the X factor this team needs. We had it with Adama Traore, many, many years ago. He was the X factor who could just flip a game on its head for us, and Ben Doak could be the same. So I really do hope that he stays fit firstly, and he does play as consistently as he can, because he is exciting me a hell of a lot. There were some other positives, despite Conway and Clark being out injured. We did see the return of Rav Vandenberg second half, which was to get him back in, and fantastic to see him. Isaiah Jones come on, did okay, had a chance second half. I was saying to Johnny during the game, I'd be really intrigued to see how Jones reacts now, because I don't think ever in his time at Boro he's had direct competition in his position. I know we've had Marcus Forss, but Forss is a different player. I think in terms of a similar profile of player who'll do a lot of the same things that Jones will want to do, he's never had this competition in a long time, if ever. So this will hopefully bring the best out of him, because Ben Doak, I think, already has dislodged him. So Jones is going to have to work hard to get back in, and it's something he's maybe not had to do very often, and he'll have to start doing now. Bergso come on up top, put himself about, couldn't really get into the game. Hamilton, you could say the same. Barlaser come on with only a few minutes to go as well. But yeah, good win for Boro. It sort of relieved the stress and the slight anxiety and the rumblings that were starting to mount, I think, around the team, given our recent form. But as I say, this is far from a turning point. It's the template for what we need to be doing at home a lot more regularly. I think the defence got the clean sheet that it's deserved and warranted a lot more often this season. I think the defence has arguably been a bit unlucky at times. But going forward, it was good to just see us put our chances away, but it's all on whether we build on this. That's the most important thing. You know, this could be a flash in the pan, like the 2-0 win was away at Cardiff before the last international break. We then go and draw and lose the next two. So, yeah, it's a good result. It's got us back into the mix slightly, but it's all about capitalising, and the 2 games coming up are going to be very tough. You know, West Brom away Tuesday, they did lose for the first time today, and Watford, who got a really good win against Sunderland. So 2 very tough away trips to come. This will only matter if Boro build on it. But that's my thoughts on our win over Stoke. Let me know yours in the comment section below, whether you were there at the game or not, whether you're a Boro fan or a Stoke fan. As always, let me know in the comment section below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, and of course, if you're listening over on the podcast provider, which you can do via the links in the description, give me a like, a rating, and a follow over there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. A lot more football and championship content to come. I will, of course, be previewing and reviewing. Well, I'll definitely be reviewing. I'll try and turn around the preview for the West Brom game quickly if I can. However, I am on holiday from next Friday, so I will not be here to review the Watford game, unfortunately. I might still preview it, but I won't be here to review it, and I will be back after the international break. So we've still got the West Brom game coming up, Watford games are maybe, and then we're back after the international break. But until then, thank you very much for watching, guys. Do take care, and I'll see you all in the next one. Up the Boro.